Hello, my name is Brother Sean, minus the habit, and I'm a member of the Teo community of Interfaith Franciscans, an online cyber community where ordinary men and women have a strong connection with Francis of Assisi, an eco-spiritual warrior. For this recording, I was guided to dress down. In other words, not to wear the habit, and to come to you as an ordinary individual who, like you, experiences the struggles of embracing the spiritual path, the spiritual journey. I'm no different to you, except obviously my sex and name, but I want to assure you that whoever surrenders their heart to God, having honored their heart, they do embrace a beautiful journey. But as with every journey, like going on holidays, there are always hiccups. How many times have I got to the airport and realized I left my traveller's checks at home, or I've misplaced my passport, or when you get to the resort, you realize you forgot your swimwear. We're human. But in saying we're human, we are also divine. Because before we were born, we were a being of light in the presence of God. And when we came into this incarnation, we brought with us a wealth of spiritual expertise encoded in our soul's DNA. We came from a six-dimensional energy into a world that was third-dimensional energy. You look around you in the world today, you will see pockets of light, like in the monasteries, hopefully, or places where a group of men and women will come together to celebrate their divinity, having reawakened the divine spark within them. But you again look at the news, you read the media, and what you see? Evidence of man's inhumanity to man. Don't you think that that has a knock-on effect on all of us? Of course it does. When brothers and sisters are killing one another, they're killing a child of God. So you have children of God destroying children of God. Maybe through willful ignorance, maybe through stupidity. But whatever we inflict on another, we inflict on God. And we inflict on the whole mystical body of God. I want to read to you. Now this is from a Christian perspective, because I'm a Catholic Christian Franciscan monk who embraces all faiths. That is the tenet, the core values of our community, the Teo community of St. Francis. He asked us in 2008 at his tomb to embrace all faiths. I thought I did, but the catchphrase wasn't for me to embrace all faiths. It was to set up a community of men and women of different faiths to come together in prayer and one day to live together in the field of dreams. Now, Enzo Bianchi has written an amazing book, Words of Spirituality, exploring the inner life. And this is what he has to say about the spiritual struggle. The spiritual struggle is an essential aspect of Christian spiritual life. The Bible asks believers to prepare themselves to encounter opposition, just as we are called to have dominion within creation. We are also called to dominate ourselves and the sin that threatens us. Sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you. but you must master it, Genesis 4 verse 7. This struggle is an interior struggle, not directed against those around us, but against the temptations, thoughts, suggestions, and inner processes that lead us to consume evil. Paul, using images related to war and athletics, running and boxing, speaks of Christian life as a fight, a sort of inner tension that allows us to remain faithful to Christ, and that involves us unmasking of the processes by which sin gains control over our hearts, so that we can fight it at its source. Our heart, in fact, is the site of the battle. So the spiritual struggle is an internal struggle. And I have to be honest with you and say, from the moment I wake up to the moment I close my eyes, it is one struggle. Because the temptation comes, oh, don't bother about prayer. Oh, sure, you're living the life as a monk, that's good enough. Or maybe, why don't you just forget about your enclosure promise and get out there, go to a disco, have a great time. Why not go to the pub for last orders? Let your hair down, get that habit off, have a great time. Be normal, be sociable. Why don't you just forget about living the life of a monk and get yourself on one of those away day specials to Greece or Spain and disco the night away. That's just one. But there are many battles. But I'm given the strength by God. In the promises I made, the vows that I took, there is an inherent grace or blessing within each promise that gives me the strength. But there are times, if for example I become unwell through infection or one thing and another, that's when I'm at my most vulnerable. And that's when I really have to scream out for God. But I'm not alone. There are many of us at this moment in time who are really, really struggling. And when I say struggling, I mean struggling. We are not exempt. But on a plus side, we, the brothers and sisters of the Teo community, have initiated 2 live stream channels, virtual TV channels, that you can access on the internet. And we come together as brothers and sisters for morning prayer at 9 o'clock with an interfaith feel to it, and again at 5 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock on our Doves for Peace channel we have a vigil dedicated to Gaia for peace and unity. And at midnight I lead a soiree where on Monday, Wednesday and Friday we initiate a healing spiritual forum in the presence of the Cosmic Christ. And we invite you to come and join us, or to email us your requests so that we can pray with you or for you. And on the other nights, because it's a 7-night commitment, yes, we go live at midnight for 30 minutes for a spiritual reflection and a guided meditation. So we're offering you an opportunity to share your struggle, to join us, not to convert to our way of life, but if the Spirit moves you to join us as a member of the community, brilliant. But when I invite you to it with us, to be there as a support mechanism for us, as we are there for you. Sometimes Catholic Christians have this mindset that those who live the contemplative life have been unsuccessful in a loving relationship. Well, that's not true in my case. Or that we're running away from life, and that's certainly not true in my case. I've lived life to the full. I've enjoyed my life. And yes, I've had a few knocks. No, I've had quite a lot of knocks. But God's love gets us back up again. But I wouldn't swap what I have today for a win on the lottery, because I have the lottery. And though I've given everything away that I've owned, everything, my clothes, possessions, and in the eyes of the world I own nothing, but in the eyes of God I have everything I need, because my needs are met every day. But the struggle is part of the journey, and the positive side of having struggles is that it makes you stronger, and it gives you a vast experience of life that fits into your spiritual toolbox. Come and join us on our live stream channel. Come and share your love and support those of us who've dedicated our lives to God, for you, for peace and unity in the world, and that all faiths will come together as one. That's my heart's desire, to see brothers and sisters in the Islamic faith, the Shiite and Sunni, come together. In the Christian Church, Catholic and Protestant and evangelicals. In the Buddhist tradition, to see the Tibetan Buddhists and the non-Tibetan Buddhists come together. It's such a shame that religion, within the religious family, there are so many divisions and so much hurt. Isn't it time that we came together? Isn't it time that we buried the hatchet and that we embraced one struggle rather than a multiplicity of struggles? But as Jesus said, you will know my disciples by the love they have for one another. But equally on the downside, Gandhi said, I like your Christ, but not your Christians, because your Christians are not like your Christ. And that is true. So let us embrace our struggle with hope. Let there be no fear in our heart. Fear is the tool of the evil one. Let us surrender our heart. And when our back is to the wall and we're really, really struggling, let us use the gift of free will and ask the Christ to come to us. And He will. Namaste. Please pray for me.